Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. Today we're going to talk about, this highly respected organization right here, Project Veritas. They pretty much walk on water, not just that they tell you they walk on water, but, that's everybody's perception of them because they expose everybody. Well, not so fast. Today you are going to find out, and I am sorry to be the one to tell you this. So don't hold it against the messenger here. Okay, just take in the truth that they give you. This time it's about them. Okay, so treat this the same way you treat their exposing other people, with the utmost respect. We all know that, right? So let me tell you, these guys don't walk on water. Since June 25th, 2019, they have been absolutely refusing to tell the world that all environmental voices, starting with Vail, Gore, Redford, Sundance, the NRDC, and the United Nations since shortly after November 93, followed by everybody right up to Greta today, is a preventing solutions fraud. Okay? And what are we preventing? This, the solutions the world needs. End global environmental illiteracy, end our disposable society, from homes to fast food to stadium concessions to packaging and transportation packaging, gaining individual cooperation. It is an easy, implementable, right now solution. And once people get educated and understand how and why they should cooperate, they will cooperate, especially when we, end our disposable society and we make it just so that, of course, you're cooperating. There's not even disposables for you to even think about. Leadership by example, hemp. America could be leading the hemp revolution of the world. Hemp can be used for everything. It's renewable. It's sustainable. You know what else is sustainable? Ending our disposable society. Yet they don't talk about that. Just clean energy. That's last. Hasn't been achieved in 5 decades. At best, its common use is a decade away. But the first 5 on my agenda are achievable immediately and would have solved our global environmental problems decades ago had any environmental solution allowed any environmental voice allowed solutions. But will Project Veritas tell you that? No, absolutely not. Why? They don't have to. But let's listen to, what James O'Keefe says about Project Veritas.
There's so much whistleblowing, so much coming out. What happens?
I think, Alex, that if we haven't reached the tipping point, we are about to, because I have these federal agents, just like you on the border here in Donna, McAllen, Texas, and they come to me and they say, James, there's nowhere else for me to go. I trust you because you have not settled the litigation. I trust you because you do fight back. And there's so many people like this that come to us now, and I have an obligation to fight on their behalf. I'll sue people on your behalf. Have you been?
He has an obligation. He has an obligation. This is the job he took on, exposing people, exposing frauds, exposing corruption. This is the job he put himself in business to do. Of course he has an obligation.
Project Veritas will never be defeated. Project Veritas is truth. Dean Baquet, not the truth. Dean Baquet is the executive editor of the New York Times. CNN, not the truth. That's why Project Veritas cannot be defeated. As long as you guys...
Right, because they are about the truth. And they are better than CNN, except actually not. They censor the same environmental truths that CNN has been censoring since the 90s, and every mainstream propaganda outlet. I called them out in my book a decade ago, and since then, worse, every independent truth media out there will also not tell you this truth here today, because if they did, I wouldn't need James O'Keefe. But right, as James O'Keefe said here, people come to him because there's nowhere else to go.
Let's keep in mind Salesforce, which is just a cloud-based customer relationship management tool, or CRM, feels they are somehow the arbiter of truth. Why do they think they have the authority to police freedom of speech? Funny.
Now, fast forward this video a bit.
Your company, which is a CRM, is canceling a journalist for reporting on information the public has a right to know. You have the audacity to say that you're for freedom of speech? I'm personally still waiting on a reply from Salesforce Legal, I don't know who that is, for an explanation as to why they specifically made a business decision not to extend their relationship with Project Veritas. As I said in the email, we are a journalism organization. I also asked, does Salesforce intend to cancel other journalism clients? You decide. Again, we are citizen journalists. We investigate all types of corruption, and we pride ourselves in having no agenda. Also, contrary to popular belief, we have never and will never align ourselves with any political party. Veritas exposes the truth, period.
Period. Period. That's it. That's what they do. Oh, okay. And he doesn't know who that legal is? Oh, okay. That's interesting because PV Legal is who they send out messages from. So I don't know who these people are either. But, get over it, James, okay? Because they didn't give you the name of their lead counsel. Neither do you. But right here, thank you for contacting Project Veritas Legal. If we decide to explore your case, a member of our legal team will reach out. This is May 20th, 2021. Okay, this is just 1 month shy of 2 years after I'd been badgering Project Veritas, and one night, you'll see, an hour's worth of phone messages and emails because they're out of control here, fraudulently misrepresenting what they are. But you know what? I'm still waiting to hear, James, about your business decision to not even yet explore this case, to expose every fraudulent environmental voice out there, but I'm not going to. That's why we're going to be meeting in court. I'm supposed to be putting together a court case right now to have James O'Keefe, explain things and all of his words to a judge. So maybe he'll do his job, or at least let the public know that they're not really the godsends they think they are. They're just not. And even though they're just begging you to donate, are they robbing you of your public dollars? Because, if they're censoring this, what else are they censoring? You really have to wonder that. But here's James, some more.
We'll save the truth because there is only one truth, and it's Telegram. You can.
Oh, it's just one truth. There's just one truth. How many times has he said it?
Is ourselves. What we stand for with this, CNN, Twitter, it's greater than us personally. It's about fundamental principles.
I was just about to say that. I'm going to interrupt because it's so true.
Isn't it shaking his head? Shaking his head. Yeah, what is it, O'Keefe? We've heard this before.
It's about fundamental principles.
I was just about to say that. I'm going to interrupt because it's so true.
Yeah, imagine that. Alex Jones thinking fundamental principles is really important because Alex Jones has been censoring this truth for over a decade now. And, he'll go out and he'll bash Gore, he'll bash Greta, he'll bash anything in the environment, but will he expose them? No. No, no, no. So talk about fundamental principles, Alex Jones. And let's hear what else James has to say.
On this latest travesty, we just want them to tell the whole story. When it comes to serious reporting, omission of facts can be just as dangerous as outright lies. We here at Project Veritas believe in truth and telling the complete story.
Oh, Project Veritas believes in telling the complete story. Omission of truth, like censoring the truth, the one truth, that all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds, allows the lie to continue. But what, huh? Don't bother Project Veritas with silly things like exposing an entire global industry, because that appears to be out of their league.
Once we discover them, we can embrace them and let go of them. William Turton, you have to let go. You have to stop projecting onto other people, onto citizen journalists, onto people like Project Veritas, who you are. You'll discover you are what you hate, but you're still...
I'm sorry, what did James O'Keefe just say right there?
Who you are. You'll discover you are what you hate, but you're...
Maybe that's why James O'Keefe pretends to go out and expose frauds while being a fraud, because I've told him this in emails before. You are what you hate.
Still young. What are you, 22, 23? You can join us instead of fighting us. We're supposed to be on the same side.
James, you're supposed to be on the side of exposing frauds, okay? You're not even on the same side, so give it a rest. I've told James to put himself on his own wall of shame, and he needs to. I'm going to ask for it in a court case that James O'Keefe put himself on his wall of shame.
We're supposed to be fighting for the truth. We're supposed to be truth to power and all that stuff. Instead, now you've had to print.
We're supposed to be truth to power, unless, of course, that is every environmental voice out there, because then just, what, huh? What are you, why is Eileen bothering us? Right? That's exactly what Project Veritas says. So
there's only one truth, and there's only one reality. So
yeah. Now, if only James O'Keefe would tell the world what the one environmental truth and the one environmental reality is, because his refusing to expose it lets the lie live. And the lie is very damaging, not to mention annoying. We have to listen to these people, and they're all frauds. But here James is again about his one truth.
There's only one truth, James.
There's just reality. You can't change reality.
You can't change the truth either, right? It's real or it's not real.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you know what? Not real can stay real, or at least perceived as real, when no one exposes that it isn't not real. You know what else isn't real?
Work for CNN? We expose everybody.
We expose everybody. How many times has Project Veritas told you this?
Does Jeff Zucker tell you what to say on the news? Where's that going? I don't know what you guys doing.
Project Veritas?
Not sure. Have a good one.
We expose everybody.
We expose everybody. We expose everybody, except no, you don't. And what promises is O'Keefe making here? Listen to this.
You have to say to hell with them. So if you're that person and you're watching this, if you're an insider out there, there's so many reaching out to us, but you're kind of a little scared, I would say join us. Winston was the last man in 1984. We're going to build an army of Winstons, an army of guerrilla journalists, and it will be beautiful. Veritas Tips at protonmail.com is the address. We will defend you. We will tell your stories, because there's simply nowhere else to go. We have to be
He will defend us. He will tell our stories. So was that one more time?
Veritas Tips at protonmail.com is the address. We will defend you. We will tell your stories, because there's simply nowhere else to go. We have to be the tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear.
We have to understand that politics is...
Yep, the tip of the spear. Just go right to the heart of things. Yeah, okay, James. If only you would. And now here, listen to this. Oh, James.
Why can't these people stand behind what they say? Why would you say something and not stand behind it? I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind.
I'm sorry.
Why can't
can
you
you
ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind?
What was that?
I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand
Just
behind.
one more time.
I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind.
Okay, James. And he actually believes that. But we're going to see here differently. And again, remember, don't shoot the messenger. So, right here, I sent him an email that night. I wouldn't say something I wouldn't stand behind. Live up to it, O'Keefe. Okay? Yeah. And then I say, oh, really? Is that from the same person who has said all of these things too? That James really doesn't stand behind? And of course, there's a lot more. So that's why Project Veritas loves my emails. And right here, James, witnessing corruption? We will tell your story. 3/25/21. Okay? This was like a year and 3/4 from the start of Project Veritas refusing to tell people that all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds. But there James is. Oh, we won't censor you. I mean, they were talking about tech here, so with all of their hoopla, they expose. It doesn't matter. They don't have an agenda. So, it can't just be they won't censor just if you're a big tech insider because they don't have an agenda. Remember, and we don't have an agenda. We pride ourselves on that. Oh, okay, James. Except it seems like you do. And here, I don't have a date for this, but when will individuals stop sitting idly by while corruption within their organization runs rampant? You know what? I'm not within Al Gore's fraudulent organization or McKibben's or the United Nations or the White Houses that won't allow solutions or Congress or Gates Foundation or Bono's One or the Rise Fund or, not protecting our winners or the NRDC or anyone else, okay? But I am the one person who has the truth about the entire environmental industry. So, you know, if they were real journalists, they'd understand that. Okay? Because you know what journalists do? O'Keefe, we're journalists, we're journalists, we're journalists. Oh my God, we're journalists. You know what journalists do? Journalists tell the truth when the truth is put on their desk. Okay? They don't, what is it? What is it up here? Oh my God, what is it up here? That they're lawyers? They don't decide if they're going to explore it and then never explore it. No, a real journalist tells the truth, you know. And then James, always yapping, and then he says, journalists don't hate us. They just hate that we are willing to do the hard work they refuse to do. Except, at least not environmentally, and you gotta wonder what else Project Veritas is censoring from the world. Okay? So Project Veritas is not doing the hard work. Project Veritas is censoring the exact same truth that CNN and mainstream propaganda outlets have been censoring since the 90s, early 2000s, and all of the independent today's truth media have been censoring since they started. Okay? That James O'Keefe is not doing the work that journalists refuse to do. He is right there with them. Yeah, it's true, James. But does that stop the hoopla? No, no, no. Look at this. That right here in Times Square. Big, huge billboard, right? Oh, what are they looking for? Okay, if we can expose Okay. We can expose media, big tech, government, Hollywood. Let me see. I have media. I have government. I have the United Nations. I have the White Houses, many of them. I have, Congress. I have Justin Trudeau and the island president and that lady down there in New Zealand right now. I have big government. Okay. And I have Hollywood. Okay, Gore. I have the entire named names, including Hollywood. Okay, there's a Leo. He's on his foundation's on a lot of my emails. Will he be bothered with solutions? No, Bono. Bono's one was going to solve the climate crisis in 15 years, like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and they haven't because they won't allow solutions. And then Bono started a second organization with a bunch of people, the Rise Fund, and you know what? And Laurene Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs, his wife, she's in there with it too. And she has her Emerson Collective for solutions. And they won't allow solutions. So Bono and Laurene and other friends these two have first organizations that refuse solutions. So they open a second organization to, continue to refuse the solutions their first ones could have solved a long time ago. So I have their criteria here. I have media, government, Hollywood. I'm censored by big tech too. Okay, don't kid yourselves. So, right. I feel so much, but will Project Veritas, will they care? No. No, no, no. But here's O'Keefe yapping some more.
Well, thank you, Steve. I know you've had us talk about this before. Yeah, this is investigative reporting is no joke. I mean, we have to quote these people effectively behind closed doors admitting what we suspect to be true, but
Right there. What did he say they do? Oh, that's right. He's always talking about it. They
admitting what we
expose
suspect to be true, but
what they suspect to be true. Okay? It's always what we suspected to be true. I call Project Veritas Project Verification because you know what they expose? Not much of anything. They verify what we already equal to suspected knew. So here he is, right here. All of your suspicions may soon be confirmed. Again, suspecting what we know. I'm like, hey, then finally, over 2 years late, tell the world something it doesn't know, suspect, which is all environmental viruses are preventing solutions frauds. But will he? No, no. But you know what? This is the first request I gave to them. You know, hey, let's expose all these people and many, many more. This is real. I'm real, is how I end it. What? They can't be bothered. Here's December 11th, 2019. Right here is Project Veritas, McKibben. You got Gore's Climate Reality Project, Redford, NRDC, the executive director of Bill McKibben's got Earth to 400. You got Greta, you got Time, you got media, you got, I send out these distributions, and Project Veritas is on a gazillion of them. A gazillion, a lot, okay? Along with a lot of environmental voices who are all preventing solutions and media that won't report it. And is Project Veritas any better than CNN? No. They're right there with all of them, not doing their job. Not even when, right here. Now, who decides things at Project Veritas? Apparently the lawyers do. Okay, well then they should be able to understand the documents filed here, me, versus Sundance, when Sundance had the absolute audacity to show Gore's second movie after I went crazy on them when they showed Gore's first movie, because Sundance, Gore, and Redford all know that since shortly after November 1993, all three of them have refused to give the world the environmental education, agenda, and solutions movie the world needs. And then, 13, 14 years later, 15 years later, they showed Gore's first movie, Crying Out for Solutions. And then 10 years after that, they showed his second movie. So I took Sundance to court to try to get an injunction to prevent it. And so I think I got Sundance's documents the morning of the hearing. Okay. I mean, this came about pretty fast, but by the time I got it scheduled and Sundance laughed it off, like, oh, we're not even going to respond because 30 days that we have to respond expires, and this event is just right here, until I called them and I said, I have to tell you a court date, a hearing date, because and you haven't responded to me, so I need a contact. And the girl on the phone went, a hearing, like she knew exactly what I was talking about. And I'm pretty sure that when I was still talking to her, I got an email from their lawyers, from her simply saying, a hearing. Somebody else in the background heard it, apparently. And then I got a notice, oh, you can contact us. And I had Robert Redford and Al Gore petrified for like 5 nights before the hearing that a judge in Park City, Utah would have did the right thing and gave an injunction, and then these two would have been exposed, and then everybody would have been exposed. But Project Veritas, you know what? They've never asked me for the details of this. I've sent them, like, I have, proof, and I've never sent them the documents, but they're lawyers. These guys can all go and look at all these law cases. They can go and look at this. Oh, but that's right. That's right. What does Project Veritas think about exposing every environmental fraud on this planet? Oh, they haven't decided to explore my case, to even look at it, in 2.5 years now. Yeah, it's true. And is that all? No. I mean, here, they have these from Gore, from 95, from Gore's staffer, blah, 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 go away. Gore tells me to go away here in 98 from him himself, because he's going to continue the solid record of achievement, right? His usually negative results. Oh, yeah. And then he thanks me for bringing the proposal to his attention, and he's impressed with my hard work. But will Al Gore allow solutions? No, absolutely not. Will the United States Chamber of Commerce? This is their head environmental guy, like the VP of Environment. I actually got a meeting with him, and at the end of it, it was a half-hour phone meeting. At the end of it, he said, I want to circle back to this. And I was like, okay. And then like a day or two later, I'm like, I'm just wondering how long circling back takes. And he's like, oh, thanks. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm like, yeah, but let's go forward. No, no. I guess Project Veritas lawyers can't figure out this is proof that the United States Chamber of Commerce is holding up the United States from leading the world environmentally, leading with, being environmentally literate, leading with ending our disposable society, leading with hemp. No, no, no. I guess Project Veritas lawyers can't figure that out. But here, what's going to happen if we don't do things?
Think about you. Oh my God, I might lose my Twitter account. Focus on telling the truth. Focus on having a backbone. And I think that we can't lose, Will, if that is our mentality.
100% is. People who are worried about what the left will do to them now should be far more worried about what the left will do to them in 10 years if they do nothing now. People have to grow a backbone and actually do something, or it's just going to continue to get worse, especially when we...
Yeah, it is. It is, blah, blah, till the end of there. But for time, let's get to that worse. Okay, this is in 9/25, September 25th, 2020. This is Mark from Climate Depot. He's, anti-global warming, but he's on Alex Jones here.
I've already mentioned the climate credit card, but beyond that, we have the International Energy Agency. We have a UK government-funded report. We have the organs of the United States government all promoting the idea of climate lockdowns. We have climate activists announcing that in a declared climate emergency, you only be able to fly when it's morally justifiable. In other words, you're going to need if you want to travel to Florida for a vacation, not going to cut it. If you're going for a funeral, maybe. If you've only had one funeral that year, you'll have to justify this. Chuck Schumer is urging Joe Biden right now to declare a national climate emergency. It would turn the United States into a blue state like Cuomo or Whitmer in Michigan, where they would suspend elements of democracy and start being able to oppose interstate travel restrictions, all sorts of even dietary restrictions, energy restrictions. We're already getting reports about smart meters, turning people's air conditioner off in the summer if they make it too cold or their heaters off. This is a level of control Americans have never accepted, but the COVID lockdowns softened us up, and this is what we're headed for.
So this is you.
And we're not headed for it. It's here. It's not 10 years like this guy Will said. It's here. It's now. Here's more.
The Soros Gates funded professor who came up with the phrase, they're the ones who said we need to go from COVID lockdowns to, quote, climate lockdowns, unquote. They actually use that phrase themselves, climate lockdowns. And you're exactly right. This is not a Chinese social credit system someday in the future in the United States. This is that Chinese Communist Party style social credit system right here and now in America. It's arrived.
It's here. It's now. It's arrived. You're going to see it's true.
So if you don't go along with the carbon footprint, you're going to be denied banking access to credit. We have the federal government under Joe Biden doing what's called environment social governance. Department of Treasury is now going to be withholding bank credit ratings to institutions that lend to energy extraction. In other words, unless you're doing the approved what benefits China, solar, wind, or electric car batteries, you're not going to get money for energy, and banking and lending institutions won't be able to give it to you.
And Mark,
oh, yeah. Oh, and it's here. Right here. Dave Hodges, Common Sense Show.
This is unbelievable. A credit card, and it's from MasterCard, working with a committee in the United Nations whose name is too long to remember to pronounce. But if you make purchases that violate your CO2 credit allocation on your credit card, boop, you're cut off. You're saying, you gotta be kidding.
Nope, absolutely not kidding. There's more.
Here's some of the more outrageous things happening. A group of academics in Australia have now announced that it's time to add climate change as a cause of death to death certificates. Bill Gates is all in on this. Bill Gates has said that the death toll from climate change will exceed anything from any virus that we could come up with. Keep in mind, since 1920, we've had a 99% drop in climate-related deaths. So there's no truth to that, number one. But number two, we have Obama's Department of Transportation say that climate change is causing an increase in fatal car accidents. Al Gore says every organ of the body is affected. The American Cancer Society says cancer is up due to climate change. So if you die from organ failure, a fatal car crash, or cancer, you're going to credibly have climate change listed as a cause of death. It's not far-fetched to think of CNN or MSNBC putting up daily climate change death tolls. This is the way they're going to scare the public. They've already scared the kids. We know that. So that's one of the things happening. That's one of the absurd.
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of the things happening. And what did Charlie Chester tell us in CNN here?
We're going to start focusing mainly on climate, like global warming. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Climate change awareness. You know, we're all aware of climate change. It's going to be about fear to get you to comply with lockdowns. And right here, this was just recently. It's UN announces climate tyranny as official policy worldwide. And I again, right here, to tips Project Veritas Legal. Does Project Veritas know anyone who exposes frauds to impose tyranny? Are you kidding me? You know, but this is the one environmental truth the world needs to know. But still, Project Veritas, has not explored, exposing that all environmental frauds, all environmental voices are frauds. Here, this right here, Matt Gaetz, breaking this bill that actually just got passed. It's one of my next headlines. $2.25 billion for the climate police. Yeah, Americans are going to love it when the climate police are coming to their door, because all of the people that have been in power have refused to allow solutions. So now they're telling you things are so bad that tyranny is coming to your living room. Yet Project Veritas
I mean,
isn't about
a
that.
lot of stuff, but in this field, what else can we expect to be coming out?
Well, okay, so this is Mario Babaloa, B-A-L, blah, blah, I don't know. Mario, he's their media guy. He's been in another video of Project Veritas's, and here he is on InfoWars, because, we got to stop mandates about, COVID because of tyranny, but environmentally, Project Veritas still is just, what? You keep those blinders on us.
Tell you, we have more whistleblowers inside government, DHS, other institutions. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out very soon. And, we're looking also for whistleblowers who are working in big pharma or whistleblowers working in health agencies, government health agencies. We're seeing.
I'm sorry, because I thought they weren't agenda driven. Oh, but they'll expose. No, their agenda is they will expose about vaccines. So they're out looking for specific stories, but they're not agenda driven. O'Keefe has told us that a million times, but now here he is telling us the complete opposite. He's telling you what they're looking for, which means they're agenda driven.
This avalanche of mandates and unconstitutional orders taking place across the country. People are reaching out to us desperately, asking for help. How can they, keep their job? How can they, avoid certain fines or all sorts of punishment if they don't want to take the vaccine, for example, or the mask mandates? It's truly frightening, and we encourage.
Gee, I wonder if people are going to be calling them, wondering what they can do about the climate mandates, that if only Project Veritas helped expose the frauds, maybe wouldn't be happening.
Anyone with information in those institutions, be it health agencies or big pharma, to come forward to us and help save our country.
Oh, help save our country. If the people that have information to prevent tyranny should come forward to help save our country. Now, if only Project Veritas Legal would get, what is it? Oh, that's right. The willingness to explore, finally doing their job and telling their truth, maybe we could get on this. Mario, Now, that night right here, this is 54, almost 55 minutes. This is me calling Project Veritas. It is going through their, switchboard, and I had to, talk to extensions 2, 3, 4 times maybe to finish my message. And I talked to the main number. I, pressed the button for the president, and then I pressed it for media to talk to that guy there, Mario. And I don't know, I think the third time, maybe the fourth time that I call back to finish my message, and Eric S picked up, and he's like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "Who are you?" He wouldn't even tell me what department he works in. He wouldn't even tell me. But he gave me this email which didn't even work. Yeah, that's no kidding. And so, now even after that lengthy phone message, I sent this lengthy email here. It's just in parts here. Just these are all the people that not even all, some of the people that could be exposed. Like everybody, propaganda can be exposed. This is what they're refusing. Greta's a fraud, right? Look at these people. They won't even let you post on their pages because their audiences can't know the truth. And then what do I end with? I'm like, let's talk soon. Like, let's get on this. But no. To this day, now it's
That is
about,
why I'm calling on
now
all
it's about,
Americans.
I don't know, that was May, I think. It's like 5, 6 months later. 5, 6 months later. And where are we? 5, 6 months later? Oh, right here. James O'Keefe calling on all Americans.
That is why I'm calling on all Americans, and especially all journalists, to stand with us for the right to free speech and the free press, and to send a message that the politics of fear will not prevail in the United States of America.
Oh, the politics of fear. That was after his raid, but the politics of fear. And that includes tyranny. But James, hey, just do your job, James. So, and hey, today, this right here, November 20th, it's 8:13 p.m. my time, Mountain Time, and they passed this 2.5 trillion, which includes the climate police and a bunch of things that have absolutely nothing to do with real solutions that are ever going to do any good anywhere for the environment whatsoever. But what does James and this project, this Facebook Insider tell people here?
Hope so. Moral of the story, don't keep secrets that you don't want the public to know because someone might blow the whistle on you. You're not going to get away with it.
You're not going to get away with it. This guy who Project Veritas said, "Oh my God, please. Oh my God, you're big tech. We'll expose that." Right? I mean, this guy was a year and a half, maybe more than that, into Project Veritas refusing to expose, environmental people. They jumped to him and, don't have something to hide. Hey, you know what, O'Keefe? That includes you too.
Maybe more extraordinary is the fact that they want to keep that private from you. They don't want you to know that they're doing this.
Yeah, you know what O'Keefe doesn't want people to know? That he's doing this. And it's not like I don't ask him to tell you. Here's him ambushing people.
Hey, Benny. This is James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. Do you just have a minute to talk off the record?
No.
Just take a minute, Benny. We're putting the story together, and I just want to talk to you about what's going on. Hang up the phone.
Oh, he hung up. He hung up. Oh, and then what does O'Keefe do? He's always ambushing.
Sir, would you just tell the public what you've said privately?
Hey, James O'Keefe, would you tell the public what you do privately? How about that?
You're welcome to drive away if you'd like, but I'm standing in a public parking lot here. This is the most important public health issue of a generation.
You know what, James? The environment's a pretty important issue, too, because there's only one livable planet.
This is an incredibly important issue. You're a scientist for Pfizer.
O'Keefe, allegedly, you're a journalist. Journalists tell truth when truth is presented to them, especially when a journalist has created an organization to expose frauds. Okay?
For Pfizer.
For Project Veritas.
How do you sleep at night?
which was exactly what I asked James in an email that night.
And that's Nick Carl for Pfizer. We just want him to be public with the people about what he said privately. The question is, why does he want to keep this secret from the American people?
You know, James, for the same reason you want it secret about everything you censor, which I'm not sure the environmental educator is the only thing you do censor. You know, I asked Project Veritas for a number and a time to call O'Keefe. You know, this time I asked, why is it so hard to get a number and time to call O'Keefe? As always, get this to O'Keefe. Give me a number and time to call you. I can't ambush O'Keefe. You know, we're at opposite sides of the country. I can't ambush him. What happens when you call Project Veritas? You know where you get? A recording. Okay, you don't get to people. I can't just ambush him, so I've asked him a number of times to just be a man, to just, hey, just give me a statement, you know? Hey, tell me exactly why it is you're giving this entire industry a pass. And where's James? Oh, I guess he hasn't explored getting into this, you know? But I tell him to put his very limited agenda aside and do his job. You know, environmental voices are frauds and tyranny is coming on that foundation. It's just, but what does James O'Keefe do? Oh, let me see. That's right. He tells people he's going to send people out
someone on the
to check on
inside
you,
of
to
Guy's
question
school
you.
was corroborated by a Project Veritas undercover journalist. If you're on the inside of one of these educational institutions, contact us and send us a tip at veritastips@protonmail.com. We'll send our team of undercover journalists to corroborate.
Oh, they'll send people out to collaborate. They'll send people out to ambush people. Oh, as a matter of fact, here we are. They did it right here.
There you have it. We tried to ask the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, about his staffers undercover. He did not want to answer. We're going to stay on it, folks. As always, Project Veritas Action, and this is James Lalina reporting in Union City, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Same thing that James O'Keefe isn't answering. But now, right here, Project Veritas went and they ambushed Oasis-Crazy. Did they ask her about the environment? Did they? They were right there. Could they have said, hey, you know what? No, you said, you know, if you have better, if you don't like the Green New Deal, then come up with your own ambitious on-scale proposal to address the climate crisis. Until then, we're in charge and you're just shouting from the cheap sheets. To which I replied, the solutions, not the ridiculousness you propose, the world needs has been available since November 93. It's just no one will allow solutions, including you and Mr. B.S. Bernie Sanders, and I'll be calling and emailing again. You know, did he ask about that? No, nowhere here. Nowhere.
I drove 1 hour just to let you know that I am a journalist with Project Veritas.
Oh,
and I would actually like to ask you about some commentary that you said about us. Did you actually see that Charlie Chesner from CNN was exposed as pushing propaganda and bias?
We were creating a story there that we didn't know anything about. So I think that's propaganda.
I noticed you didn't say anything about that, but you said something about us online.
Thank you so much.
Do you even live in the Bronx, in the neighborhood you claim you're from?
I think she lived here for a long time, so I don't know.
That's what I had heard, but we haven't seen her.
Yes. Nobody saw her, no. Yeah.
Everyone in the community never seen her.
We investigated that. Turns out, actually, to be perhaps misleading. Thank you so much. Sorry, when an elected representative hides behind her fame and refuses to actually stand and be accountable, you know, this is the only recourse we have. Project Veritas, we expose everyone, sir.
Oh, again, they expose everyone except they don't. And would they ambush AOC, even though James O'Keefe twice promised you that that's what they do? Oh, well, he didn't promise you here, but, you know, they went out and did it here, okay? We'll send someone out. We will. And yet they were right here with Oasis-Crazy and gave her a pass. Okay? Yeah. Let me see. Oh, and then I sent him an email. So very nice of you to only ambush Oasis-Crazy and ask where she lives, not the tyranny she intends on posing because she won't allow real environmental solutions. I'm like, do it again. This time for, you know, real and for good. Then follow up with ambushing Gore, Mr. B.S. Bernie Sanders, and every other environmental voice. Yeah, But where? As Project Veritas? No. No, but here she is. She's going to introduce the Green's newest disaster. And here she is on Facebook. Now, um, this is her in Markey, National Public Servant Markey. He too will not allow solutions. No one in Congress, no one in DC, no one anywhere will. Okay, but right here, this is how it started. This is the top picture, and this is how it's going down here 2 years later. Now, this top picture, this is the two of them starting their Green's newest disaster for a sustainable future, for environmental solutions. And what are they doing? Oh, they're eating ice cream using a disposable spoon and plastic cup. Two of the absolute most environmentally abusive things you can do. And they're laughing about it. This whole thing is funny to them. They don't know the first thing about being environmental, and they won't allow real solutions because they're not about solutions. They're about tyranny. And so isn't the United Nations, which, I just showed you. And here is Project Veritas and the United Nations. And hey, Project Veritas, they're having another conference where, again, solutions are censored. But, Project Veritas, they can't figure out that when you put them on email with all these people, and all these people still refuse solutions, just like Project Veritas refuses to expose people, that these people are opposed to the solutions, just like Project Veritas is opposed to exposing them. So, but this is proof, regardless if they can figure it out, Again, I need a time and number to call O'Keefe. Why is Project Veritas giving entire environmental industry a free pass? July 28th, 2012. Okay, let me see. O'Keefe has something to say here. We better listen to this. O'Keefe has something to say.
Again, we are citizen journalists. We investigate all types of corruption. We pride ourselves in having no agenda. Also, contrary to popular belief, we have never and will never align ourselves with any political party. Veritas exposes the truth, period.
Period. That's it. We just expose the truth. They have no agenda. No, but what do they expose? Oh, let me see. They gave this lady a lot of press. Oh, yeah. What did she do? Let me see. She was a propaganda agent for a decade, working for like Fox and then somebody before that for like a decade, being out there promoting propaganda, because propaganda has been in the press for, I called it out over a decade ago. Okay. It's been out there. Okay, she's been a propaganda agent, but then she finally decided to ask an intelligent question, and it was something about vaccines that Project Veritas will expose, because that's their agenda. Remember, they're looking for things in this field, even though they don't have an agenda. James O'Keefe, how many times have you heard that from him? They do. And so they gave this journalist, oh my God, let me tell you, she is just like such a journalist that 5 months later, she is still right here on the front page of must-see videos. This is the first one right here. This is the first one, okay? And it goes back. You can hit this a number right here, 5 months later, as if she really has something important to say. She doesn't. What did she expose? Oh my God, she was censored. She couldn't ask a question about, she couldn't propose information about other alternative cures to COVID. She was censored. Guess what? At the time, everybody in the world knew that news was not stating alternative treatments. Okay, she had the inside documents. She could prove it. We already knew it. Okay, but again, what does Project Veritas do? That's right, they tell you what everybody already suspects means knows. And they gave this chick press like she is worthy of something. And so I, like, hey, Ivory, guess what? Be a journalist. Expose all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds. Project Veritas gives her this huge springboard. And what's the first thing she did with it? Censor. Well, that's not the story I want to tell. But no, Ivory, you don't understand. You just got this huge springboard because you can't censor, and you're a journalist, and journalists tell things because it's the truth. But no, Ivory has absolutely no interest. And then I even asked her, because she was hanging out with Project Veritas, to record PV and her, laughing, censoring the biggest truth the world needs to know. I mean, I asked her to do it. Has she done it? No. No. But there's Project Veritas acting like, oh my God, this girl is just a savior to the world. And no, she's not. She's embarrassing, and then, Project Veritas, they expose a lot of people that are not exposures. Who's right here on their website right now here? This guy here. Oh my God, critical race theory. Guess what? Everybody has critical race theory these days. Everybody. And you know what critical race theory is? It's every invader that Americans basically committed treason, allowing this country to be so invaded, and all they do is tell us that the problem with America is those Americans. That's what critical race is, and it's everywhere. So they're not really exposing anything. Okay? But here, I tell them, because I tell them that they don't expose things, they're project verification. So this is me being snarky. I'm like, PV's next exposure, illegals welcome, can stay, do anything they want against federal law. And then, what did Project Veritas do? Oh, exactly that. Here's a DHS insider. Oh my God, this guy had, just mind-boggling news that, can you believe that illegals who come here in the court system, they can just keep appealing until they get the decision that they can stay? What? This guy is exposing nothing. There is a gazillion loopholes that allow everyone in the world. It is a joke that everyone can just come and invade while quality people apply to America and get rejected. Any just not quality person can come, and our country is drowning in them, can just come. And it's a joke. And the thing about this guy's agenda is the court system. Oh my God, they can appeal until they get the decision they want. What illegal goes to court? None of them, like 2% of them. So he's talking about like the 2% of illegals that come here and actually get a ticket to go to court. Never mind all the illegals that just walk in. Never mind all the green card holders that come here on a 4-month visa and are never going home. And they're going to be here. They're going to marry anyone that will. And then they have their anchor baby. And then 30 people pile in on behind them. And then they all have their anchor babies, right? I mean, this guy exposed nothing. He exposed a drop in the bucket. And even in the venue that he's talking about, the court system, like 98% of illegals who have court dates don't even go. So he's just talking about the 2% who do. And Project Veritas, immediately, oh my God, we got to put him on. Oh my God, he's telling us what we already know, right? But what does O'Keefe have to say?
But the whistleblower put it to me thus. He said that Facebook has more power than the United States Supreme Court because they have the power to control dialogue.
Well, you know who else controls dialogue? James O'Keefe, by censoring the truth and allowing the lie to be a global dialogue. He controls it too. He's the same thing as Mark Zuckerberg.
But if Facebook is saying that even if what you're saying is true, it can still be demoted, it's a pretty extraordinary admission. Maybe more extraordinary is the fact that they want to keep that private from you. They don't want you to know that they're doing this. So I would say that even if you're a private company, you shouldn't lie to your stakeholders, your stockholders, and your users. That deception to your audience is unethical and immoral and is anathema to the behavior of a media organization that claims that they're not journalists, that they're publishers. Well, if you're a publisher and you're behaving this way, it's just totally anathema to what we should stand for and what the public square should stand for. And it's so shocking. And if you don't solve
what we should stand for, doesn't James O'Keefe stand for the truth? But not environmentally. And you don't know that. He's not going to tell you that.
And my point is just be honest with people. And, I'd be out of a job if people were just honest about what they actually believe and they're honest about their product.
Yeah, James O'Keefe might be out of a job if he was honest about his product and that he's the same as everybody else and he censors like everybody else does.
It takes too much tenacity. You have to open yourself to discovery. Project Veritas is truth, okay? We represent the truth. I run from nothing. I hide from nothing.
Oh, okay. He just says it so much to try to convince himself.
Why did you send emails telling Pfizer employees not to report that you guys were using fetal cell lining, miss? What else are you hiding from the public? Miss, what else are you hiding from the public? The public needs to know.
Yeah, the public needs to know environmentally too, which is what Project Veritas is hiding from the public.
Well, there you have it. We wanted to ask her a few questions. She broke out into a sprint. We really think that the public needs to know about the fetal cell lining emails, and we tried to get a comment. She ran. Sometimes they don't want to.
You know what? A heavy environmental voice would run too if Project Veritas did their job.
Answer for the fraud that they're committing or the corruption that's going on. We try our best, and the really only question now is who's next.
Who's next? Who's next? Because Project Veritas, yeah, they expose everybody. So who's next? Because, yeah, what does Project Veritas do? Oh, that's right.
We expose everybody.
Expose everybody, right, right. And what does Project Veritas do?
Issues that need to be exposed, come to us. We will have your back.
Oh, that's right.
Be brave.
They'll have your back. Right, right. When they're not putting knives in it. Yeah. Okay. And once again, what do they do? Oh, yeah. They expose everybody.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Everybody except everybody in the environmental industry. Everybody.
Should the Southern District of New York try to take away our First Amendment rights and uncover and publish newsworthy stories without government intimidation, be assured Project Veritas will not back down. Nothing stops at Project Veritas. Let me be clear. Our mission is to serve the public's right to know by illuminating, revealing, exposing information others wish to hide for the wrong reasons. To quote Lord Acton, we believe everything kept in secret degenerates. We don't mislead or conceal. We investigate facts and potential newsworthy information. Sometimes, as was the case here,
I'm sorry, what do they do?
Degenerates. We don't mislead or conceal. We investigate facts and potential newsworthy information.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's if they decide to explore the facts. But when they don't, then James O'Keefe just forgets about that and ignores it.
Sometimes, as was the case here, after we investigate, we decide not to publish a news story. But Project Veritas will run from nothing, and we will hide from nothing. We exist for the very purpose of discovering and revealing the truth, and hope to make the world a more transparent place.
Oh, if only that were true, James. If only that were true. And once again, back to James.
Why can't these people stand behind what they say? Why would you say something and not stand behind it? I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind.
Oh, okay. Except, I don't know, because, it's 2.5 years later, O'Keefe, and Project Veritas still has not decided to explore exposing every environmental fraud out there, which is every environmental voice. And now tyranny is being posed because we don't have solutions. Yet we do. Yeah. So O'Keefe.
People are waking up, and I think the proof is in the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 messages that I'm getting on DMs and Proton Mail from people on the inside of every part of society that want to wear a hidden camera.
Okay, what did he say? 10, 20, 30,000 DMs? And he's exposed what? I don't know, couple dozen people? So what else is Project Veritas censoring? They are censoring this desperately needed global truth. And what else are they censoring? Because you know what? Like, they investigated where AOC lives.
We investigated that. Turns out, actually to be perhaps misleading. Thank you so much.
And you know what? I investigated what Project Veritas says, and it's not perhaps misleading. It is absolute, outright fraud.
Once we discover them, we can embrace them and let go of them. William Turton, you have to let go. You have to stop projecting onto other people, onto citizen journalists, onto people like Project Veritas, who you are. You'll discover you are what you hate, but you're...
Yeah, James O'Keefe, you are what you hate. That's why you spend your life exposing frauds. while not exposing frauds, making you one.
Still young. What are you, 22, 23?
Yeah.
You can join us instead of fighting us. We're supposed to be on the same side.
James O'Keefe,
we're supposed to be fighting for the truth. We're supposed to be
James, you don't have to fight for the truth. I put it in your lap. I put it on your desk.
Truth to power and all that stuff. Instead, now you've had to print.
Except you will not speak truth to all of the environmental power in the world. You just won't. Doesn't have to, isn't going to.
Why can't these people stand behind what they say? Why would you say something and not stand behind it? I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind.
Never. Oh, okay. Okay. And now, what does he think about Zuckerberg and Facebook? It's kind of him and Project Veritas.
Why do they get to determine what we can or can't say as it pertains to our health? We would know none of this, but not for the fact that we have a brave Facebook insider that continues to leak and transmit videotape of Facebook executives to Project Veritas. It's not that the insider is betraying Mark Zuckerberg. It's that Mark Zuckerberg is betraying what Facebook ought to stand for.
I'm sorry. Can we hear that one more time, James O'Keefe?
Project Veritas. It's not that the insider is betraying Mark Zuckerberg. It's that Mark Zuckerberg is betraying what Facebook ought to stand for.
Kind of like you're betraying what Project Veritas in your word stands for. So why don't you give it a rest, O'Keefe? Why don't you either finally do your job and expose all environmental voices or preventing solutions frauds, or, give it a rest and close your doors. Or I got to find the time to arrange a meeting with you in court, because apparently that's the only way I'm going to get an answer out of you. That's the only way. You can explain to a judge all of your fraudulent statements, all of your soliciting donations based upon it, and then you sitting here being exactly what you have a career of doing, which is exposing frauds. So I'm sorry this went so long. It's important. And again, treat this like you treat every, exposure that Project Veritas does. Get mad at the person that's being exposed, not the person. You're never mad at Project Veritas for exposing somebody. Don't be mad at me for exposing this man and his organization. And, give them a call. Drop them an email. Tell them to do their job. Be an American. Use your voice. But, maybe I need a judge. Good luck with that. But I'll try. I'll at least try. One of these days, as soon as I get the time. So stay tuned. There's a lot more truth coming, and we're going to be talking about what really needs to be done environmentally, and we need real solutions, not the tyranny these people are imposing.